Welcome to Extraterrestrial Reality. Today we have a couple of different things to talk about. Later on, we're going to talk about a new episode of the History Channel series, The Proof is Out There. They had a segment on in their first episode of the 5th season where they discussed the 2023 Las Vegas alien incident, and unfortunately, that entire segment was filled with deceptions. Obviously, the word is out to try to cover this thing up, and we're going to talk about what they talked about and what they didn't talk about. That's what we're going to talk about later on, and we're going to show you exactly how they're trying to cover this up in the mainstream, out there in the mainstream. Obviously, the History Channel, it's owned by A&E television, right? A&E owns that, and in turn, A&E is owned by the Hearst Communications Company as well as Walt Disney Company. So all of this is all part of the establishment. Obviously, they're trying to cover this up. They don't want the world to know about what really happened in Las Vegas back in 2023. There were real aliens there, despite the fact that the History Channel wants to lie about it. The History Channel show The Proof is Out There wants to lie about it. They made fools out of themselves. I'm going to be able to show you exactly how they did that, and what the information that they left out that they failed to discuss at all. It's incredible, actually. But first, I want to talk about something that has been pretty big this past week here. Something was seen in Bolivia and captured on camera. Another creature, it seems. Here's an article from the United States Sun. It says, "Never alone, horrifying moment, 4-foot-tall see-through alien is spotted taking a riverside stroll." And then there's two pictures here that they have in the article. This was the original picture, what it looks like, but way in the background, there was a guy standing here on a rock, and then there's a river. You could see it, body of water there. And on the other side, walking on a sand bank, is some sort of a creature. You could barely see it in the original photo, but then zoomed in, you could see this weird-looking thing walking there beside the bank. Now, we've been talking about this a lot recently, of course, not only with the Las Vegas case, but other cases as well. Just recently, we had Jessica Ortiz on here. She's the Compton resident from Compton, California resident, who captured something walking next to her house on a Ring camera. A very strange case indeed that is. We'll talk about that a little bit later as well, because there are some things with that case that need to be cleared up again, apparently, because some people just... I guess, they'll start watching a show about something and they won't watch the whole thing, and they won't hear explanations for different aspects to certain cases, and then they just make wild conclusions without any sort of proof to back up the statements that that they want to say. So, but I guess we got to clear that up as well. But anyway, getting on with this one here, it says in this article, it says a see-through alien standing around 4 feet tall has been spotted along a river bank, onlookers have claimed. The photographed being looked both gray and translucent, with long limbs and a funky walk. And then they have a picture of it here in a circle. You could see it. Very strange looking. It looks alien-esque, of course. You could see through it. It is translucent, transparent, semi-transparent. And it looks like it's looking at the photographer in this image here, this still image. And there's a faraway shot of it. It says here in the writing beneath this image, it says, somehow the figure does not have a reflection in the water. Well, I'm not sure if it was close enough. I mean, yeah, that could be an issue here. I don't know. It does not have a reflection in the water. I can't see a reflection in the water. But then again, it was semi-invisible, and maybe it doesn't cast a reflection. Who knows what the reasoning is behind that. And there's the full picture again. You can see the thing circled way in the background, and then there's somebody standing here on a rock. Apparently, they didn't even realize this thing was there at the time when they're taking this picture. We don't have a lot of information on this photo at this point. Apparently, it is being investigated by some UFO researchers, so hopefully we'll get some more information as time goes on. Because we need to, one of the things you can do here is you can't authenticate these pictures. This is something that we learned, from people like crime scene reconstruction expert Scott Roeder. You could authenticate these pictures, just like he was able to authenticate the video from Jessica Ortiz. We know that was sent directly right to Ring, and then from there to Jessica Ortiz. I mean, it's just the way it is. He has the metadata on it, so we know that image, that little segment of video, 4-second video where we see the creature walking by the house in Compton, California. on June 5th, just after 1 a.m. We know that was whatever was going on there. It had nothing to do with somebody putting CGI effects or anything. That really happened. Something caused the ring camera to go off, and it caused that thing to show up there. That's we could say that with assurance, but we don't know anything much. We don't know a lot about this image here. Anyway, continuing with the article, it says, it was spotted taking a stroll on the banks of the Pilcomayo River in Torija, Bolivia. The being didn't look alarmed or unaware of the photo. It looked like it was staring directly into the camera, the witnesses said. Even more strangely, the alien appeared to have no reflection in the water. UFO experts are now analyzing the image for its authenticity. The being has been named the alien from Torija as the process goes on. It looks like a transparent being with long limbs, typical of a gray being, ufologist Javier Carlos Cordero has said. But we must determine the veracity of it. And then the article goes on to say it would be hard to determine if the image is authentic, but Cordero suggested using artificial intelligence to scan for abnormalities. Cordero recently took part in the first international ufology meeting in Tarij, near where the alien was sighted. Tarij is used to strange extraterrestrial activity. In 1978, hundreds of citizens in the area reported seeing a spaceship crash into the mountains. The incident was so credible that even the United States military took notice. The Bolivian military thought the end of the world was coming, and a boom was heard from miles away. All that was found was a cylindrical object smashed into the mountainside. To this day, it is one of the most credible alien incidents on record. Among this alien chaos, another ufologist, Sebastian Bidondo, recently made it known that he is convinced that aliens are present on Earth. Well, guess what? So am I. I just want to stop there. I'm convinced of it too, because I saw one of these things when I was a kid. They're definitely here. There's no doubt about it. Anyway, continuing here, it says he had a simple message for anyone listening. We are never alone. No, we are not. We are definitely never alone. There's most certainly something here with this. And I think that this is most certainly an interesting image, especially considering the fact that over the last few years, we have a lot of interesting images. Like I was stating before, we have that Compton alien ring camera footage. I mean, that's very strange. I don't know if we're ever going to figure out exactly what it is. I mean, even Jessica Ortiz, she's looking for answers. I know there's a lot of people out there that were stating that the being in that Compton video was put in there by CGI, but that's impossible. It's impossible because we know where the footage came from. We have the raw footage. We have the metadata on it. We know that there was no way that anyone could have put any sort of CGI in there. And another fact too about that case too is that very shortly, within an hour of that happening, Jessica Ortiz had uploaded that video to her Instagram channel. So I guess the bottom line is this: if this new Bolivia alien is real, and of course we see what's going on with the Compton situation, we can't say one way or the other what it is. Is it somebody in a mask? Perhaps it's somehow eluded the first two cameras. I mean, because think about that story in Compton. The camera out in the front, that was not activated. The camera in the back wasn't activated. Just the camera on the side of the house was activated, and it captured something walking by the house. Why didn't the front camera go off? Why didn't the back camera go off? Okay, that's one thing to consider. The other thing is okay, if did somebody sneak by the house in the middle of the night? Some people are saying they're seeing a person there. I don't see that. I see what looks like a alien-shaped creature walking there. But I can't say with 100% certainty what it is. I don't know. Nobody could. Nobody's trying to say that. We're just looking at that video, the Compton video. We're looking at this video, or this new image here from Bolivia. We don't know if that's real or not. We're just looking at those things and trying to come up with, are these aliens? Yeah, they could be, because you know what? The Las Vegas incident, right? That proved it 100%. Anyone who looked at all the evidence with relation to that case will know, right, that these things are possible, that it is possible. It's possible that these things are among us at all times. That's what we need to really be talking about. I mean, if they say this Bolivia thing is, look at it, just walking around, just having taking a stroll next to the riverside there. I mean, if that's really happening, then that means they're just out and about. They're just here with us. We just don't see them half the time. They're probably using invisibility powers, cloaking techniques, things like that. And who knows? They could be living right here amongst us. Maybe that's what happened in Vegas back in 2023. Maybe, when maybe that was deliberate. We were talking all different kinds of theories on what happened in that case, right? I put out there that maybe that craft needed to make a emergency landing, and that's why it landed in the Kenmore's yard. That's why it landed there. But and then some craft showed up to repair them and get them out of town, and that's why there was nothing left by the time the police showed up after about an hour after the 911 call was made. And there were 2 UFOs reported hovering in the area where the object went down. That was reported by someone from Arizona who had contacted the American Meteor Society as it was going on. The person saw that object falling from the sky, and when it landed, they noticed that there were 2 UFOs in that area, and they were hanging around that area for about an hour. But unfortunately, here's the problem. Obviously, the world isn't ready to know the truth, right? I've talked about the Las Vegas alien incident on this channel, on this podcast, ad nauseum. As everyone who's been following my show knows, it's one of the main topics on the show, and I think it's rightfully so, because as far as anyone should be concerned, it proves that we're not alone. There's something here. There's a non-human intelligent presence on Earth. There's just no question about it, and that case there proved it. Unfortunately, I just I was recently alerted to. So one of my subscribers had contacted me to let me know that the History Channel's new season of The Proof Is Out There just launched, and the very first episode, there was a short segment there on the Las Vegas alien incident. They really, I don't even know why they published anything. I don't know why they did anything with it. To me, right, it was complete, absolute hogwash. Everything they did, it was basically providing disinformation to the public. They actually brought in, believe this is incredible to me, they brought Mick West on. Mick West, a person who said there's no reason to even look at this case. There's no reason to talk about it. He doesn't even want to talk about it. He turned down $5,000 to do an analysis on that backyard stuff. Right? They didn't even show the backyard video at all. None of it. They didn't talk about the alien creatures in that 1 minute and 41 second long video. I'm assuming, right, that the same thing that happened to Ancient Aliens is happening to The Proof Is Out There. There was an attempt I know this. There was an attempt by Ancient Aliens to obtain the 1 minute and 41 second long cell phone footage they use in their in their show. There's supposed to be another show on the History Channel on one of the upcoming Ancient Aliens episodes where they talk about the Vegas case as well. But when they tried to get the footage, and the family apparently was open to it at first, but then changed their minds later on. Apparently the family's under some sort of duress to shut up about this, okay? And I know this for different reasons, okay? I can't say what the reasons are right now. At some point I will. But the family has been under some duress, okay? They've been under duress to keep their mouth shut and to make this. Somebody wants this whole story to go away. They don't want anyone to know about it, okay? Let's just put it that way. And now apparently the History Channel has gotten the word on this as well, because they put out a most certainly deliberately bogus report on that incident. There's no question about it. Okay, for one thing, they pretty much, if you see this segment, it was very short for one thing. They only focused on the object coming down from the sky. At first, the one that everyone was calling a meteor, okay? Including NASA at the time, as everyone remembers, they said it was a meteor. And the only video of that object coming from the sky was the body cam footage that was captured from a Las Vegas Metro Police Department officer just before midnight, right before the object landed in the backyard of the Kenmores, right? They only showed that video. They did not show some of the stuff that we've been showing on this channel, some of the stuff that Scott Roeder has talked about in the past. For instance, the video where was from someone's security camera on their home. They captured with sound, and they captured that object coming down, and you heard this mechanical oscillating sound as it dropped. The History Channel's Proof Is Out There program did not talk about that at all. They didn't show it. They didn't do anything with it. So here's that little clip of that. They did not show this, okay? And then they didn't show the most important footage, I thought, of the object coming down was the leaked Amazon robo-taxi video, where we actually had it. It was captured on infrared, on long wave infrared, and we were able to tell that it had no heat signature. So it could not have been a meteor. It could not have been a meteor because we have it on infrared, and it shows us on infrared that there was no heat signature. right? This has been talked about for over a year. They didn't talk about that at all. It wasn't even mentioned. They didn't show that footage at all. They didn't even talk about it. Instead, they had Mick West come on and just say, yeah, I think it's a meteor. On top of it, Mick West then goes on to say that, oh, he thinks that whatever it was, it landed 200 miles away from Las Vegas, somewhere else in Nevada. He just throws that out there. He's just making it up. And then, who's the host of that? Tony Harris. At the end of it, they come up with their verdict on what they think about the Las Vegas alien incident. And they say, oh, yeah, we think it's a meteor. And then when they talk about the reports of the 9 or 8 to 10 foot tall creatures in the backyard, they did play a little bit of the 911 call when they were talking about that. When it came to that, they didn't. For one thing, they showed none of that video. I'm assuming they didn't get permission from the family to show it. But to me, right, it's news. It's news. There's a fair use. You could use some images from it. You could have used it, but I guess they view themselves as entertainment and not news, because that's what it seems to be. Entertainment, deception, deceptive entertainment. That's what the Proof Is Out There is all about. But anyway, Tony Harris then concludes with this little segment when he says, and then the police, Las Vegas police, dropped the matter. It was unfounded, to make it sound like there was nothing to it. It was unbelievable that they did this. I can't believe it's deception on a scale I've never seen before. I can't believe that the History Channel put out this deceptive episode regarding the Las Vegas alien incident. That's because obviously somebody's gotten the word to cover this thing up. They don't want everyone to know the reality of the situation. They want everyone to keep. I don't know what the History Channel's motives are. Right? I don't know if they don't want to let the cat out of the bag, because then all the other following episodes mean nothing if you know the reality that we're not alone, right? It changes the complexion of everything that will come later on. They want to keep people hanging on, not knowing what to think about this. It could be that, or they could have been told by the government, hey, we need to cover this one up quick. I mean, who knows? I don't know. Whatever the reason, right? I could just tell you this, that the whole thing was very, very deceptive. They did not lay out the whole story. They didn't talk about the creatures that we see in the video. They didn't talk about any of that. We've had experts look at this, video experts, not just Scott Roeder. I've had other people contact me privately. Right? I know, right, that his analysis is spot on. There's no question that there were beings in that video, and that the video wasn't hoaxed, there was nothing like that. Right? It wasn't CGI. We know that there's no special effects in that cell phone footage. We know that. And all the different instances where we see alien faces popping in and out throughout that 1 minute and 41 second video. The face above the fence, they didn't talk about that at all. They didn't talk about the little alien in the background that I talk about all the time. The one I like to call the undeniable backbreaker, the one that ends the debate, right? There's no question about it, right? There was all kinds of creatures that appear in that video. The History Channel didn't even go there. They didn't even talk about any of the assertions with regards to that. They didn't talk about what Scott Roeder's been saying. Instead, they had Mick West, who did nothing on this case, did absolutely zero research. They have him coming on and saying, oh yeah, I could have been a raccoon standing up there looking at them. Again, this is what he told Inside Edition in September of 2023. He was on an episode of Inside Edition, and in that episode, he suggested that it was raccoons and coyotes that scared the family. That's not possible. We see the creatures in the video, just like the family stated, but they're staying away from this. They don't want you to know. They don't want the public to know. Obviously, they don't. Somebody's covering this up. Mick West is obviously a part of it. Everybody should be up in arms about this. This is unbelievable to be lied to be lied to like this on this scale. It's incredible to me. I mean, think about all the millions and millions of people who are going to sit there and watch that History Channel episode, over time, right? I'm sure already there's probably tens of thousands of people that watched it. And they're going to look at that, and they're going to be deceived. They're basically being fed lies. That's what it is, a deceptive story. They're deliberately leaving aspects out of that, elements, very important elements, out of the story of that incident. They're leaving out very important information, and obviously it's a way to deceive the public. That's what it's all about, folks. It's about deceiving the public. Mick West is a part of it. He's obviously a part of it. He thinks he's smart by doing this. Anyway, I just think it's a shame that this is what happened, and it's very unfortunate. But what are you going to do? This is not unexpected. I mean, we have talked about this in previous months. In fact, I brought it up Scott Roeder has brought it up too as well, that we think that the History Channel, when they do the Ancient Aliens, that they're not going to do a lot with it either. They're not going to show the creatures that were in the video. There's something going on behind the scenes. Obviously, the family doesn't want this. They want this thing to go away. Somebody wants them to make it go away. Somebody's forcing them to make it go away. That's some of the things that are going on behind the scenes, folks, just so you know. And obviously, the History Channel is part of this, and they basically put out an episode that was filled with lies. That was absolutely absolute pure deception. That's what it was, folks, pure deception. But I guess what I want to just close out here talking about a little bit is the fact that there are things here. There are things among us, and you have to wonder, maybe what happened in Vegas in 2023 was actually, hey, it wasn't a hard landing. It wasn't an emergency landing. Maybe it was a deliberate landing. Maybe they were just saying, you know what, we're landing and we don't care. We want everyone to know that we're coming, that we're here. Maybe that's what it's about. You know, why not? It could be. We have no idea. All we could do is speculate about what happened. Right, so what if they were landing on purpose? Remember, one of the witnesses, Angel Kenmore, stated that when the object hit and then it became invisible, then he heard what sounded like thousands of footsteps running off in all various directions. Maybe what was happening is there's thousands of footsteps running off to all different directions. They're all here. They're coming here. They're living on the surface with us somewhere around us. We don't know. What would one be doing walking around Compton in the middle of the night? What would that be? What's that all about? What's this creature walking around in Bolivia? You know, doesn't care if you get photographed me. What's that all about? If it's real. I mean, we don't know if some of these ones are real yet. I mean, I have no... here's one thing I can say about the Compton one. There's no CGI or special effects. We just can't say with 100% certainty what that thing is. It looks like an alien to me, but hey, it could turn out that somebody was wearing some sort of a costume or something and was walking back there. That could be the case. But the Vegas alien one, right? There's no question about that one. That's been guaranteed. We know that for a fact. We have the witness reports, multiple witnesses. We have the assurance from video experts like Scott Roeder and his team telling us that there's no question about it. There was something there, and it was whatever it was also using some sort of cloaking technology that had the ability to prevent the camera from filming these creatures properly. So we know, we already know this is a real phenomena. They're here among us, and they're walking around among us. Who knows what they're up to? Maybe they're living here. They're just letting us know, hey, we're here, and there's nothing you can do about it, buddy. You better learn to live with it. Maybe that's what it's all about. Could be. But again, I just want to say I'm really sorry what happened with the History Channel with this latest episode. That is a shame. That is a shame. I don't know how, how could you be so deceptive like that? I don't get it. Like, I don't know why you'd want to be so blatant, like lie so blatantly. How could Mick West go on there with a straight face and barf out those lies like that? Basically ignore all of the really good data that associated with this case and focus on one little image from it, one little video clip of it, and say, oh yeah, I think it's a meteor. Oh, another thing, I think it landed 200 miles away from Las Vegas. So yeah. Well, where does he come up with that? He's just making stuff up. We've already had people like Chris Lathrop, an investigator of this case, make the determination that the triangulation that object was heading right to the backyard of the Kenmore family. We already know this, but they didn't talk about any of this stuff on there. They didn't talk about any of the other proof associated with it. They cherry picked what evidence they wanted to talk about, and then just decided, you know what, we'll say it's a meteor, and we'll just say we'll go with the unfounded. We'll say it's unfounded about their encounter with 8 to 10 foot tall aliens in the backyard. Well, what a clown show. What a clown. If you have, I'll tell you what, I'm glad I don't subscribe to the History Channel. I'm just going to say what I just did here to watch this episode. I watch, I have YouTube TV. So that's where I'm getting my channels from these days. And they don't have the History Channel. So in order to watch that show, right, I got a free 7-day trial of this other channel called Philo. And then I watched the show. I watched the segment of the show that talked about the Las Vegas alien stuff, and then I went in there and I got rid of the subscription. I got rid of the trial so it doesn't renew it. I'm glad I don't pay anything to the History Channel. I'm glad I'm not paying money to a deceiving, deceptful channel that doesn't do its research and you'd be better off, right, not saying any. If you're gonna lie like this, why would you do it? Why would you lie like this? Why not just say nothing about it? If you don't know what you're talking about, why talk about it? It doesn't make any sense. Why would you want to lie to millions and millions of people? That's the question I have. Why didn't you do your research on this? Or you did do your research on it. That's what I think happened, folks. I think they did do their research on it. I think they're lying to all of us. They think everyone's stupid out there. They don't think anyone's going to figure this out. They don't think anyone's going to say anything about it, but I'm going to say something about it, and I hope other people say stuff about it as well. It's very disturbing on how easy these companies, these big corporations, how easy it is for them just to barf out lies onto the public like this. They don't care. To put something together like that. That was put together. They've done this kind of stuff before. A couple of years ago, I talked about this. The same program, The Proof Is Out There, they did a segment on the Turkey UFO videos from 2007, 2008, and 2009. Those videos that were filmed, multiple videos filmed by this guy from Turkey, Yalçın Yalman, right? And there's no question, right, that you see alien creatures in the crafts that were hovering out over the Sea of Marmara. There's no question, right? But they made the determination in that episode, oh yeah, they're UFOs. We'll say they're UFOs, but we don't see any aliens in there. Even though you clearly see aliens in there. There's no question. There's no other explanation for it. That's what they were. They're freaking aliens. There was experts from 4 different countries that had already previously analyzed the Turkey UFO videos and made the determination that it wasn't a hoax, that whatever it is real. It was really anomalous stuff going on. And we could see clearly with their own eyes, but the History Channel wants to make you believe that, oh no, there's nothing there. That's not aliens. You're not seeing those aliens that you're seeing right now. And with the Vegas alien stuff, they didn't even show any of the videos. They didn't even show any of the images. They didn't show the face above the fence. They didn't show the creatures by the heavy equipment. They showed none of it. None of it. They didn't talk about it. And they had Mick West come in and just say, oh yeah, it's raccoons and coyotes. Well, he said raccoons. I don't know if he said coyotes this time. I know he said raccoons. It could have been a raccoon staring at him. Okay, this is a raccoon. We're showing you a raccoon on the screen right now. This is a Mick West raccoon. What a joke. History Channel, Proof Is Out There. Tony Harris, all you people. What a joke you are. You stink on ice. Anyway, I want to say thank you all for joining me today. Until next time.